Hi guys! Today I'm going to be discussing the notorious psycho mom, Diane Downs. And if you grew up in the 80s or the 70s, you probably know who she is. When she committed her crimes, I was about maybe 2 or 3 years old. I'm not that old, but this was in 1983, so I'm a crossover in between the Gen X and millennials, I guess. Um, so I'm sorry, I'm getting my notes together, guys. I know I'm bad about not having my notes ready when I start recording, but um, I have a busy life, um, and I have to shoot these videos when I can. But anyway, so it's always tough for me to cover anything or to read about people who commit murders against their children. We just had a murder happen, and I might cover it in next week's What the F, where a father killed himself and then killed his wife, and she was pregnant. Um, so I might cover that next week. I don't know yet. But anyway, it just bothers me being a mom myself. You know, no matter what my kids do, I'm definitely not going to murder them, even though I might tell them I am. But Diane Downs, her motive for murder is sickening. She attempted to murder 2 of her kids and succeeded in murdering one of them because of a man. And I'm going to give you a little disclaimer before I even start. She has a total of 4 kids and maybe a couple of surrogate children out there. I am not going to name her living kids only because I want to give them privacy. Now, I know if you go on the internet, you can search for them, but I want to be able to give these kids some privacy. They've been dealing with this since the 80s, and I want to make sure that they are protected in some way. A lot of times, people don't seem to care about the victims. They just go bursting it out. I'm not going to do that. Also, I'm not going to name her husband, her ex-husband, and I'm not going to name her ex-lover because I feel like they're trying to stay out of the spotlight as well. I don't think I want to be associated with this witch, so I definitely would not want them to be, I'm not going to do that to them either. Or her parents. It's just Diane. I'm calling her out, and I'm not calling anybody else out in this video. So Diane was born in Arizona in the 50s. And she has alleged that there was some abuse between her and her father. Nothing documented. And even so, back in those days, it probably wouldn't have been documented because our social work system is not that great today, but it definitely was not great back then. She, had some issues growing up. She was a rebellious child. Her parents did have a Christian home, and she even went to a Christian college, but she was kicked out for being very unchristianly, if you catch my drift. She ended up marrying this man in 1973, and they have 3 children, 2 of which is his biological kids, and the youngest one, her son, is allegedly to have been conceived through an affair. Their relationship is tumultuous. They were married young. Anytime you get married young, there's a possibility of where things don't work out. And with Diane being who she is, I can only imagine what this man had to go through. Like I've said so many times before to other people, women can be just as vicious, if not worse, than men when it comes down to behavior and when it comes down to murder. So they end up getting divorced. Now, in between this time, she starts sleeping with several men. She loved to do it. I don't know how if I can say that she loved to do it. She also had a fetish, and I say it's a fetish, with being pregnant. She was like obsessed with being pregnant, and it's going to go along with a little bit of what she ends up being diagnosed with. So she had become a surrogate mother at least twice that they have I've been able to find out. And so you would think that someone who would be willing to be a surrogate mother would have a lot of love for the children that she has if she wants to be able to give life to another person for another family. But as you're going to see, she does not. Now, in between this time, she also becomes involved with this man who works with her at the post office. And she becomes obsessed with him. He is a married man. Now, if you're in a committed relationship with somebody and you don't feel like you're getting what you need at home, you need to just go ahead on and leave that person that you're with before you start messing around with somebody and you get caught up with a psycho partner or, a psycho side piece, because some people can, do it and it not be a big deal. Some people can't and they get attached. And she got really attached to the point where she got a guy's name tattooed on her. She was thinking about making a life with him, but he was not interested in being a father, and he really wasn't interested in leaving his wife. It was what it was to him. It wasn't really that big of a relationship to him. It was what it was. He was getting what he needed for at the time that I guess he wasn't getting at home. But she couldn't handle that. She ended up moving to Oregon with her kids. And on the night of May 19th, 1983, she is driving down this country road that she claimed she had never been on before, and she sees a bushy-haired stranger that's flagging her down for help. Now, it's nighttime, it's dark. What person is going to stop to help somebody? And I know back in the 70s and 60s and even early part of the 80s, they were picking up hitchhikers and stuff. You wouldn't catch me doing that crap. So she claims that the man wants her car. She and him get into a tussle. He decides that he is going to shoot her children, and he shoots her. Now, she claims she fakes throwing the keys off of a cliff or something and gets back in the car. She's shot. She wraps her arm up in a blanket or a towel, and she's trying to get to her children, to the hospital. She gets to the hospital, and as soon as she gets up in there, the doctors and the nurses can already see the bull crap for what it is. Her story changes. She's more worried about herself than she is about her children. They come to her and they tell her that her middle child, Cheryl, has died. She doesn't have the type of reaction that a normal person who is grieving. And I don't want to say, I don't grieve in the same way as everybody else does either, but she was a little off. She was talking about going back to work. She was just doing a whole lot of stuff that was just too much for them. The police officers go back. They try to investigate, what happened. And they have her interviewed several times. And she's willing to do it. In between her getting arrested and stuff, she does several television interviews. And if you look there's a couple that are on YouTube. And if you go and you look at them, she's just straight blank face and no expression, no tears, nothing. And her story continues to change. The only thing that hasn't changed in these over 30 years that Diane Downs has committed this murder is the fact that she claims she hasn't committed the murder. But eventually she's arrested for the murder of Cheryl and the attempted murder and the assault of her other two children. One of her children suffered a stroke, and it took her over a year to be able to regain her ability to speak. Her son, the youngest one, was paralyzed from the chest down. But it was her oldest daughter is really what sealed her fate in the court proceedings, because her oldest daughter was able to say, hey, my mom shot me. And she shot my sister and she shot my brother. Now, while she was out, Diane got pregnant again. And this time she was claiming she was going to keep the baby. It wasn't a surrogate, it was a baby from love and all that stuff. But once she got convicted of murder and of attempted murder and assault, her baby was taken away from her 10 days after she had given birth to her, which is a good thing, in my opinion. This woman does not need to be around children. I think that if she was to be released today, she would hurt someone else. So like I said, in these 30 years, she has always professed her innocence. She's been up for parole twice, and she's been denied. I believe she's supposed to be up for parole again, either in 2020 or 2021. Hopefully, it gets denied as well. The only good thing that really came out of this story was that her older children were adopted by the DA and his wife. And the reason why this is very good for me is because anyone who has any experience with children in the foster care system, it is very hard to get children with special needs adopted. And these people were able to show them compassion and love and raise them as their own kids. And it takes special kind of people to do that. Diane did escape prison in 1987. And what ended up happening was the DA and his wife were very, very concerned that if she got out of prison, she would try to come for the kids. So Diane was transferred to a prison in New Jersey, and then she was transferred back to a prison in California. And she's in a California prison right now to this day. She got life in prison and then 50 years for each additional charge. But she has been eligible for parole since, I think, 2016. I think it was her first time going up to the board. Don't quote me on it. And their assessment of her was the exact same assessment that I had. She's not showing any type of remorse, any type of acknowledgement of her crime. She does not deserve to be let free. And I don't think she should ever be let free because of the fact that Cheryl will never be able to grow up to be an old woman. She'll never know the experience of being a mom or being in love with someone. She never got a chance to become an adult. And Diane doesn't deserve not one bit of freedom. If I had my way, she'd be under the prison and she wouldn't be able to smell fresh air at all. But then, like I said, that's where that fence I get on sometimes is at. Diane was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. She's also been diagnosed with a condition where she has to be the center of attention, which the pregnancy fascination and fetish comes in to play in that. And she's also been diagnosed as a narcissist. And like I said, if you go back and you watch any of the videos of her, you can see it. She is all about Diane. She is not worried about anybody else. These type of people she does not need to be walking around here free. And I really, truly believe that if she were to get out tomorrow, she would probably be ready to kill somebody within a month. There's a difference between her and, let's say, a mom like Susan Smith, who also killed her children, and we're going to talk about her too. Susan Smith has at least shown some remorse and acknowledged her crime. Diane Downs has not. And when we do cover Susan Smith, I do have a little different perspective on her, which might make me a little hypocritical, but I mean, I'm human. But you know, her stuff is a little bit, her past is a little bit more horrific than Diane Downs. And I think that the system failed Susan Smith, and in return failed her boys. The system with Diane Downs probably did fail her, because I do believe that there was something there, but I also believe that her situation is a little bit maybe born that way. Some circuits are a little bit loose, and like I said, the fact that you don't show any remorse lets me know that you have not shown any type of reformation while you're in prison, no type of rehabilitation. So therefore, you don't need to be out walking around the streets with other children or other men. I would think she would probably go back after the man that she was in love with. But anyway, that's the end of this video, guys. If you like it, hit that like button. If you want to have me make more videos, hit that subscribe button. I do this, it's kind of therapeutic for me, and I also do this because it's just interesting to find out what makes people click, and just to know that we have these weird people out there like this. If you make comments in the comment section, guys, be respectful. Remember, everybody has a right to their own opinion, and I will see you guys on the next video. Have a good one.